All right, customer just dropped this off. The 2007 4L60E, small shaft. Looks like the 300M shaft, but it's obviously totally different. Should be a 27 spline, I do believe, also smaller. Is a black plug. Usually you'll see those 05 and up. It should also have the input drum that has the reluctor wheel that has the speed sensor mounted into the pump. Usually it's a good indicator when you see the black plug instead of the green and gray plug. All they said was that it had a very severe delayed engagement, and then also it had issues in second gear, third gear, fourth gear. Pretty much just probably smoked all around. I didn't scan it, so I don't know. Just going off of what they were telling me. So let's get into it, see if we can find out what's wrong with this one. Got to take off the Prindle switch. Some people call it the neutral safety switch, just a range selector switch. It's real important too that when you line it up into neutral, you'll see this little dot here. You line the dot with this groove down to the other dot right down through here whenever this is in neutral, and then you can adjust it accordingly and then set the bolts and then get it into the neutral set. I don't save these. I don't care if it's good or bad. It's cracked anyway. Doesn't matter. Goes to the junk guy. It's the output speed sensor. Again, I don't reuse these. You can clean them, put a new O-ring on it. They do come with a new bracket. Usually it's a Rostra, or you can get an OEM. I don't reuse them because I will do a full rebuild on the unit. I'm not going to replace or not reuse any of the electronics whatsoever. It's missing 4 extension housing bolts. Maybe he had an issue with it when they were pulling it out. I'm not sure. Can't remember if it was a Trailblazer or an Envoy, but you can definitely tell the bell housing. It's not a 5.3, and the shaft too. I can get those out actually with this extension and this smaller gun, just because I always pre-soak those with some PB Blaster, let it set for quite a while. They always come off a lot easier that way. And there's only 2 of them you can't really get to down here on the threads on the back side, but the other ones you can. So you can really get the penetrating oil into it. You can see right through there. You can just hit all the bolt holes for it. It comes out real easy then. You won't fight it. It won't become a nightmare. Any fluid in it. It's pretty nasty. Looks like it might have had a radiator contamination leak. Get that out of the way. I'm going to get the servo off of here. happen. If you're real easy with it and don't pull too hard to break it, usually if you just stretch it enough and just kind of try to walk this out, it'll come out like that. I mean, I'm gonna throw it away regardless. The glove's already ripped. Things are junk. It's just a standard servo, which I wouldn't expect to see anything high performance, especially in a smaller engine one like this. The bore looks really good. I don't see any like scoring marks on the bore. I'll still polish it up. Give it a nice new surface. Oh yeah, it's nasty, man. It's like mud. Oh yeah, it definitely had a radiator cross leak. Oh man, it's like the milkshake. It's not quite Pepto-Bismol, but man, that's nasty. The reason is that color is probably because the antifreeze isn't green. They're running the orange antifreeze, and that's why you get that different color. Normally, we're used to seeing like the real pink Pepto-Bismol color. But I'll bet that's why it's that color. That's nasty. Get that off of here. Put a new glove on. Yeah, we can see that it is the wiring harness. It's like the E on it. Yeah, it's like an E or a 3. But it does have the sensor plug that goes into the pump. And we'll see in a minute where the speed sensor is to read off the reluctor wheel on the input drum. The wiring harness is still soft. It's not hard and brittle, but again, I will not reuse this wiring harness at all because I will be completely actually rebuilding it. Some of these can be a little pain in the booty sometimes to get off of here. It's almost like it's a smaller clip. It's down in there a lot further. Did they have the solenoid in? It's in all the way. Try a different pick. See if I can get into it with the curved one. I mean, you're not going to really hurt the valve body by marring that up really, but I can't even get to it. Well, that's being a little a-hole. I just barely got a hold of it even. See if I can get into it now with the other pick maybe. That's being a total butthole. Well. God. Jeez, yeah, they're normally not that hard to get out of there. Usually you just come in really easy with a real nice pointed pick like this one Just come right in and get it. But this is being a total butthole to get out. And again, I won't reuse them. So in the junker it goes. Get the lockup solenoid out of here. Got the plastic accumulator, which most of the times these are cracked. Let's see if it is. Not always, but generally they are. Usually it cracks right around the center pin. No, it's still okay. No crack in it. Well, it's starting. No, I mean, but it's, you know, I won't reuse it. I'll actually put a Sonex pinless accumulator setup in here. Actually, I do it to all the accumulators. And, you know, junk man won't want it because it's plastic. Just looking for kind of any telltale ideas if it's, you know, ideas if it's ever been rebuilt before. Any indicators. Well, it's got tons of aluminum metal in it. Probably torque converter. I mean, it's so shiny. It's like glitter. I'm sure the can't talk. I'm sure the torque converter took a dump whenever the cooler let loose, I'm sure. And again, remember, these three that are the different head size, the 8s, they only go here, and they are longer. They can only go in this location. You put it here, it's gonna lock up on the shell. Output shaft won't even rotate. I can tell it's got a molded valve body plate on it, which is common to see after 05. I mean, the TCC PWM valve is free. I'll still pin it and force it up and lock it, make it an on-off style instead of a pulse width modulated unit. Same check balls. You got 7 and 1 in the accumulator housing there. Makes 8 total. The plate actually looks like it's in, no, there's a decent amount of wear on that ball hole to where it would definitely be leaking a little bit. You can see, I don't know how well you can see it on the camera, but I can see it really clear where it's all deformed. And you know, I'll put a new transgo plate on it, drill it appropriately. Put it in park so you can get into that bolt. Try and get some of this fluid out here. There's not too much left. At least it's going to come out easy. A lot of people too, for some reason, they never take these out. There's a seal there that needs replaced. I always take them. I do always remove them. Just got to loosen that nut up. Come in with a pick like through here. Get the spring clip off. That usually does not happen. Usually you have to really press real hard to get them out of there, which tells me that the seal is definitely not doing real good. And there is a little metal clad seal right there. You just get your screwdriver on it and pry it out. It takes 2 seconds to change it. I mean, and a lot of people, a lot of builders do not change that. Why, I do not know. Pump washer looks like it's in good condition. Pump gasket. Let's take a look at the pump. Pump surface is really good. There's no grooves in it. It's just a little discolored in the fluid. I will put a new pump kit in it, which consists of 2 new rings, the rotor, the guide, the vanes. And you can see where it's worn anyway. You can really see that wear pattern on it right in through there and through there. It's even got a couple chatter marks on it on the top. You can see it right through there. And right here, it's got some burn marks on it. Get the pivot pin out of there. Don't forget the spring. Keeps tension on the pin. Don't lose it. Yeah, this surface of the pump is good as well. It is a shorter tube than like the 5.3s. I changed so many of them. I don't know how well you can see, but there is a height difference on it. This will be your smaller and your earlier style 4L60Es, but you gotta watch because it even is shorter, which would still be like the, say, 97, 98 4L60E, but the issue is it has the sensor, which they do make both of them, obviously. You just gotta make sure and order the right thing, you know, because you don't need to put the wrong stator tube in. It would not be good. Again, most guys will reuse this. They'll just clean it, put a new O-ring on it. Again, I won't do it. Same thing with this. This goes in the junker as well. So the pump's in good shape. Bushing totally worn out, but it's gonna get a new one of those regardless. Just had to pop the band off the anchor. The rivets are almost starting to show through on the band. It's not crackling yet. There's a decent amount of material left on it, but it's burnt. It's pretty black. It's kind of hard to see, but you can see the burn marks in the light, at least I can. It is an OEM band, which would be Borg Warner. Reverse input frictions and seals don't look too hateful. It is Borg Warner. It is a turbolator steel. All I will keep out of it is the pressure plate, the snap ring, and the bevel plate. Frictions and steels will go to the scrap guy. Bearing is installed correctly, unlike the last one where it was upside down. We got a number 70 bearing or spacer on it. Can't see, there it is, yeah, 70, yeah. Let's see. The input rings don't look new. They're actually not in bad shape. The bushing surface for through the stator is good. The other bushing surface is down here right above the bearing and the shim. It feels good and looks good. The gap on it is totally excessive. I mean, it's a, man, that's quite a bit. I mean, but they're not welded, they're not totally destroyed, but they're getting there quick. See if I can keep it balanced. Okay. So it's got all the load springs in here, which is good. I do update it, which I will show you how I build these drums. I changed the spring. I use the retainer still, but I'll use a different spring. You can see how hot it got. And there's still a decent amount of material on the plates. The gap was just very excessive, which you would definitely be slipping in third and in fourth. Again, I'm only going to keep the bottom and top pressure plate and the snap ring. Forward gap is a little excessive, not too bad looking. Get my other, I love this thing to get these out of here, man. They work a lot better than just a regular screwdriver, or even a notched screwdriver. We've got tons of those. See if I can grab it all out of there. Yeah, the output shaft seal is still soft. Bearing for the input sprag feels good. The forward and overrun stack, they don't look too bad. There's a little bit of heat starting to build on the inner part of it. And again, I'm not going to keep any of these other than I'll keep the wavy steel, the overrun pressure plate, and then the top pressure plate for forward, and of course the snap ring. And again, it's that gold SKF Sprag, man. It always ruins these. It's totally gouged out. It's total junk. Can't be reused. It's not a very expensive part, but still. Wow, it's just totally mushroomed down in. Super sharp too. It's really hard to see that. Oh, it's all shroomed up. It's just a single cage. The race just needs some work. It needs 2 new bushings. Nothing wrong with that part of the race either. The outer garbage. See if I can do this left-handed. Probably not. No. Input planet reaction carrier. The splines on the planet look good. The planet's really good shape. There's no side wobble. Let's check the captured bearing. Feels good. Yeah, you can even see all the force that was pushing against that with that brass. Started to wear that a little bit. That shim / washer is going to need replaced too. Again, there's a lot of things that you'll miss too. When you're tearing them down, then you go clean everything up, and then you'll find a bunch more stuff after everything's all clean. Yeah, see, it's got a lot of side slack. This surface is good. Just needs polished up. And it wears on from the teeth this way. When it is splined into it here, it just mashes against this. You can see there's a lot of goo that gets stuck in there. It's another reason you should take it apart too. I mean, look how much crap is in there. And it's all just like fine powdered aluminum. And it just, wears this part. All the debris gets stuck, and you can see the indentations where it's chewed up. So this is actually bad. Normally it'll go bad here. Not so much there. It's 50-50 shot, which is a bummer. So you can't reuse it. Put 2 new bushings in and reuse it. Can't, because of here. It would definitely be an issue. The ring gear itself, I don't see any chips to the teeth. There's no wear really where the snap ring rides. You'll also see some of it to wear in here with the snap ring, but it's not worn at all, so that's good. It is a bearing style, not the washer style. Bearing feels good. The shell actually has got a really nice groove in it right here. It won't matter to me. I always replace the shells no matter what, and the washers. The splines look decent. The gear looks good. Needs a wide Sonics bushing in it. The snap ring's in totally wrong. It's pushing up against the Clunk spring. Clunk spring has came out. That's why it's clunking. See if I can rotate the camera. But yeah, you can see right in there where that curved part of the Clunk spring should be right against that. This part of it should be over here resting and captured by the snap ring. You can see where it's pushed it out. And what happens is it just starts beating into the case. This is why they were getting the harsh reverse engagement. It's because of that. Hopefully the case isn't bad. I had to reset my camera so you can see a little better after showing you what it looks like in here. Parts washer turned off on me. Support out, get the rear planet out. And that's a good thing to see, is like, usually you only see this beveled part of the rear ring gear, the output hub. Bearing looks good. Is where it's beveled like that, it allows the fluid to get flung back up into the gear better than like on like one of these. You can see how it's machined different. That's got the steps in it. It's got the steps in the back, obviously. Totally smooth. I mean, this is just, then they have problems with the lubrication for the rear planets, 5-pin, 4-pin, I don't care what it is. If you're building one, you should always put one of these back in there. 4-pin or 5-pin is just totally gonna lubricate this planet and keep it alive a lot longer. The splines look good. Let's check the planet. Yeah, the planet feels really good. Bearing feels good. Remember, there's that captured bearing down inside there. The only way to change it, you have to press one of the gears out to get it out of there and replace it. You can get that, but usually when that bearing lets loose, all the needle bearings go everywhere and it just totally destroys the rear planet and the ring gear. That part of it looks also good. So the rear planet set's good. Let's take a look at the output shaft. The journals look nice. Snap ring groove is real nice and deep. It hasn't ate into any of the splines. The reluctor wheel looks good. Let's check the plates. Keep the wavy. Again, turbolator. Can't tell if it's might have been cookie cut. Kind of looks like I see some markings on the outer edge here where it looks like, you know, the deburring wheels. Just a Borg Warner friction. It looks okay. It's a little discolored. Not destroyed by any means. But again, I won't keep them and use them. I use all new frictions, all new steels. It's got the older style Sprag in it. It's still tight. Yeah, it looks okay, but again, any of the Sprags, I don't reuse any of them. I always put a new one in, and an updated version preferably if there is one. It just makes sense to do it if you're into the unit already. The bearing feels good. That was for the Planet. The rear bearing feels good also. The Clunk spring, I won't reuse it. I'll put a case saver in it, a one-piece case saver. This one's actually even bent a little bit. Get the piston out of the back of the case. Did I miss the split? I did. Where's the split on the snap ring? There it is. Yeah, there's the snap rings just in there, kind of weird. It's actually not where it should be. Piston out of there. Get the seals off of the drum or the piston here. Not super hard, they're still pliable. They're not cracking when I bend them. Get some of that oil off of there. Looks like the bushing started to walk on that drum too. Look how close it is to that surface there. The drum feels good there. Let's drive that out of there. I gotta put all new bushings in it anyway. That's when I look to make sure it's not messed up. That feels good. They're not super soft, not super hard, not cracking yet. Still a decent lip on it. I don't see any tears or cuts in it. Let's get the input drum apart. A lot of times you gotta drop them like that, real hard on the ground. Even the 3/4 piston's still stuck in there. Yeah, it's just stuck from all the metal. Oh yeah, it's finished too. It's all cut up all around it. Let's check the rest of the surfaces. And it's the forward piston housing. It looks good. 3/4 molded piston, overrun and forward. I don't care how good or bad, don't matter. It gets new ones. The return spring looks good. Nice and shiny, no discoloration. Feels real tight. Again, this spring looks good as well. It's cleaned. The 3/4 cage piston looks good, or the apply ring, whatever you want to call it. That looks good too. I gotta leak test the drum, but it looks good. Get that O-ring out of there. Just dirty. Seen way worse. Actually really clean for what I'm used to seeing. But yeah, that's it. I would have to say you might have some valve body issues going on. I'll know more once I get the valve body cleaned and then updated and then vacuum tested. I'll know a little bit more about the valve body. But the 3/4 plates were definitely bad in this. The center support was rotating in the case. The case, let's see how, if it's notched real bad. No. Just a couple little pieces right where the clunk spring came out. But other than that, it should be good. So I don't really see much else. Forward plates were good, overrun was good. Yeah, I think it was just a tired unit, to be honest. Or, it didn't delaminate the plates, which normally you'll see when the antifreeze mixes with the tranny fluid and it gets cycled through. generally it'll delaminate all the friction plates and the band like really fast, and it just welds everything together. So maybe this either got contaminated just a little bit and started having problems. They just set it. I mean, it's not pink, so it's not rainwater. It's definitely some type of an orange colored. You can even see the orange in it. I can. It's definitely got that orange color. Yeah, you can see it there where it's separating. Yeah, that's what I have to say it is. I think it got a cooler leak. Maybe it did that, blew the engine up, and then they scrapped the vehicle. Who knows? And they're doing some custom build, he said. So yeah, get her cleaned up. Get some build videos of the drums coming to you guys so you can see how to exactly build these correctly. Everyone does them different. I do use a special pack stack up where I put 14 frictions and steels inside of the input drum for 3/4. Makes a really strong unit and lasts a long time. So yeah, catch you guys again.